Hello and welcome. My name is Olga Bachareva. I'm a relationships coach and advanced fast 50 practitioner. And in this video, I wanted to share with you 4 things that helped me move past toxic relationships. So if you're someone who's been in an emotionally abusive relationships, you know the pain of trying to get through someone or walking on the eggshell or just not being able to speak your truth because you know that you constantly will be bullied. So I'm getting so many emails of women who are afraid to talk about it because they think that things will get worse, or they actually have made some changes and they left the partners who weren't perfect fit for them, but now they want to learn, how do I move past this toxicity? How do I declutter my life from this so I can accept where I am, move on, and be happy? So this is what this video is about. And I wanted to start by saying that if you're feeling like this, you're not alone. So this is something that I've received in an email recently, and she said, Olga, I left my narcissistic relationship of 3 years, and I'm finding that I'm grieving the loss of good times. So very good thing to tap on, right? I paid too high of a price to stay for those quote-unquote good times. So I'm grieving my age, and I'm not sure if I can even find somebody or date somebody again. I'm afraid of getting too close because I'm afraid of getting hurt, and it feels like that is too much work I need to do for myself. And so how long do I have to wait until I fix myself to be ready? So if you resonate with any of this, this video is for you. So either you are going through the maybe separation, or you're just kind of wondering, is that even healthy? What is my next step? In any other case, I wanted to talk to you guys, and I wanted to share what I have done to leave my marriage that was not healthy. And the truth is, maybe you'll realize that, there's some still work to do, and stay and you heal what you can. But either way, I really want you to start noticing some things, because I believe so many women don't talk about it out loud out of fear. So the first thing that I found very helpful is realizing that what's going on, so tip number 1, is not healthy. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for him. So something needs to be changed. And at that time, I didn't even know tapping. It was like a brand new skill for me. And I was doing therapy, right? So I was doing counseling. And, even though I learned some things and some things were helpful, I wasn't able to get through to the core issue, which is changing how I feel. But it was very helpful to have an honest, open conversation and to say, I am not happy. This does not feel right. And so what happened is, at that point, just starting this conversation, just saying things out loud, felt so liberating. So if you're someone, because I got another email and she said, Olga, I've been following your story for a long time, and you're someone who's been in an abusive relationship, got out of it, and actually remarried happily. How do you do this? And she said, I'm not even to think about it. I just don't want to say even more. And she said, he told me things will get worse, right? And so if you have been in this place, and if you are being bullied or hearing these messages, just know that that's what bullies do, right? They bully others. And it is healthy, and it is good for you to talk about this and to speak openly and tell everyone what's going on. One of the reasons I like tapping so much is because when you tap, you say things that you triggered about so much. I'll go ahead and do a quick round of tapping at the end so you know what I'm talking about if you're new tapping. So tip number 1, admitting the relationship is not happy and starting to talk about it. Tip number 2, now this is big, but it's forgiving yourself and forgiving him. One of my favorite coaches and mentors, Denise Ethel Thomas, always says tap and forgive. That's her number 1 recipe on improving your life, your love, your money situation. It really is a very healing and helpful attitude. And some people say, well, how do you forgive the man who betrayed you? Or how do you forgive the man who've done this and that? And I totally hear you, because I've been there. And the truth is, it does come in layers. I think some people, like even the person that email I just read at the beginning, she said, how long am I supposed to heal myself? It doesn't matter. It's never going to be perfect. I'm still tapping. I have sessions scheduled for this afternoon, as a matter of fact, with my practitioner, because I get triggered. But better done than perfect is my motto. And as you're starting this work, just know it's a work in process. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's good to set an intention to forgive yourself and to forgive him and move on. Tip number 3 is decluttering your life. Now, this is something that might not be very intuitive and you might not heard it from other coaches, but the truth is decluttering is very healing on many levels, whether it's emotional or relationship or physical or intellectual or time-wise. It's good to let go of things that no longer bring you joy. Now, when it comes to relationship decluttering, I teach my clients and I take them through a very, very specific process through Tap into Love program, where I tell them what kind of parts of the area is important to look at to really release those energies on emotional and physical level. And so what happens often as we part with someone, especially that we spend a long time with, I've been married for about 10 years, I had to go through some major decluttering. I have to sell my house and I got rid of a lot of my possessions that I no longer needed. I went through and released 80% of the clothing that I no longer wear. I released my weight, so I lost 30 pounds. And so all of these things are very healing. It's like shedding old emotional clutter and so start decluttering. And declutter on many levels. Look through where you're spending your time, right? Are the people that you're spending time are healthy? Are they supportive of you? Maybe you need to declutter some of that or spend less time with them. Either way, decluttering is great for both your relationships and general happiness. Tip number 4, paying attention or triggers. So when I was in the midst of decluttering from the toxic heavy relationships, I started noticing some really tiny things that would trigger me. But instead of brushing them under the carpet and say, well, that's not a big deal, it's going to go away, I said, you know what, I really want to heal it. And I want very intentional about it. So those are some things like Latin music. So me and my ex-husband, we used to dance salsa together. And for some time, it was hard for me to listen to salsa or bachata music because it would bring up some negative feelings, some heavy feelings and sadness. I said, you know what? I'm going to take a class. So what I did is I went and I signed up for class and I tapped all the way on the way there. It's actually gotten to the point where my feet started to hurt before I started dancing. And so I said, you know what? It's just my body healing. Allow it, feel it, and release it. Another small thing that I paid my attention to and that I noticed is that his name was a big trigger. I said, okay, what can I do to heal that? So guess what I did? I went on a date with a guy with the same name. And again, maybe it was not fair to the guy because I genuinely didn't have too much interest, but I was in a dating phase and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and date different people. And so it was really interesting experience because I allowed myself to be, sitting close to somebody whose name was the name of my ex, and I had a conversation with him. And I did this until I didn't feel any triggers. So notice, what are some of your triggers? Like this week I was tapping with a client who said, Olga, I was passing by the highway near the area where me and my ex-husband used to live. And we tapped on that. And she said, oh my gosh, it's like magic. I don't feel it anymore. So tapping is absolutely beautiful. If you are new to this tool, I'll show you a quick round of tapping right now. But let's go over the 4 tips that we went over in this video. So the first thing is admitting that the relationship is toxic or was toxic and just saying, it is what it is. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. That's what it is. And it's okay for me to grow up and be happy. Number 2, forgiving yourself and forgiving him. And, there's some of my favorite forgiveness mantras that if you guys followed me, and it goes like this: with love, compassion, and understanding, I now forgive, I now forgive, I now forgive. And I bring all power back into my body, and I'm worthy and deserving of receiving love and abundance. Now, it's a bit long, but it's a really great mantra. Have it written on a sticky note, just pause this video and play it again, and say it over and over until you really cleanse that off your body. And you know what else? Intention helps. Once you set an intention, say, I want to forgive him, you might be able to do it really fast. It doesn't have to take 10 years or even 10 months. Now, the third thing is declutter your life. Start noticing some things that remind you of him, that no longer bring you joy. I had clients who live in the same apartment with his ex. I know. And there are certain circumstances, I don't want to sound judgmental, but I want to say there's some things that are quite obvious. Declutter him from your phone. don't keep constant contact, right? Or keep on going on dates with him. Or I don't know how you guys feel about friends, Facebook, or what your things are going on there. But it's good actually not to be friends with him on Facebook, especially if you are healing. And so those are little things like that. And finally, number 4, pay attention to the triggers. Anything that triggers you or bothers you is worth tapping on, because whatever you carrying with you, you'll bring into your new relationships. And unless it's something that you want, it's okay to let it go. So really quickly, tapping is the process that becomes very common. Celebrities do it, NFL players do it, and a lot of coaches teaching this tool. This is my primary tool that I work with clients, and it has to do with the tapping points. Those are acupressure points, and they help you release stress, and it helps you really clear things up. So when you think about something that triggers you or bothers you, just tap on these points and say, let it go. Like, it's okay to let it go. It's safe to let it go. I release and let it go. Just let it go. And as you watch my videos, guys, I'll talk more about this. I don't want to go into details on this, but I want to tell you that this is an exceptional, incredible technique. And there is a video I have where I teach how to change memory with this. So if you Google how to change bad memory with Fast EFT in my last name, you'll see that. But what I did want to invite you today is, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed these tips, to take a next step with me. And I actually will be teaching an entire masterclass. So I'll show you things that I have done, the process that I have taken myself through to go through, toxic relationships, going through really bad divorce, and starting dating only 6 months after it, and meeting my soulmate. We got married this summer, and we've been together for almost 2 years now, and it's been pretty epic, quite incredible. And so I'm very inspired to share things with you that I've learned on my journey. So make sure to sign up. This is the class on how to move past toxic relationships, and I'll be teaching you some more tips on that topic. Make sure to grab your seat below, and I'll see you then. Bye.